Time as we know it is an invention. A useful one, perhaps, for organizing schedules, seasons, and the passage of change, but an invention nonetheless. When we speak of time, we act as though it is a force that moves us, pulls us forward, and inevitably wears us down. Yet consider this: have you ever seen time itself? You can point to a clock, a calendar, or a wrinkle on a face. But none of these are time. They are merely symbols, measures of change, markers of perception. So when someone says you look younger than your age, what they are really commenting on is not your resistance to time, but your refusal to be wholly defined by it. Most people live as though time is an absolute truth. They measure their worth and vitality against it, allowing their age to dictate what they should look like, how they should act, and even how they should feel. But you, in your youthfulness, are proof that time is not as solid as they believe. Think of a flowing river. The water is constantly moving, yet we give it a name, as though it is one fixed thing. The Nile, the Ganges, the Mississippi. In truth, the river is not the same from one moment to the next. It is ever renewing, ever changing. Your life is much the same. You are not the same person today as you were 5, 10, or 20 years ago. Every cell in your body has changed. Your thoughts have evolved, and your experiences have reshaped you. Yet somewhere along the way, society convinced us to think of ourselves as static entities that age like objects on a shelf. We say, I am 30, 40, 50 years old, as though we are counting down to some inevitable expiration date. But this is a misunderstanding. You are not an object bound to decay. You are a process, a flow, a part of the universe's great unfolding. When you appear younger than your age, it is because you have, consciously or unconsciously, aligned with this deeper truth. You have stepped out of the rigid framework of time and embraced the rhythm of life itself. This rhythm is not linear. It doesn't move in a straight line from birth to death. It is cyclical, ever present, like the rising and setting of the sun. And when you live in harmony with this rhythm, your body reflects it. You radiate vitality not because you are fighting time, but because you are not bound by it. People who are aged by their years often carry the weight of their past like a heavy cloak. They drag with them the regrets, anxieties, and disappointments that accumulate with time. These burdens manifest in their posture, their expressions, even in their health. But you, if you appear younger than your age, it is because you have, perhaps unknowingly, chosen to set that cloak aside. You have realized that the past is gone, the future is not yet here, and the only moment you truly inhabit is now. This recognition creates a lightness in your being. It shows in the way you move, the way you laugh, and the way your eyes sparkle with curiosity. Time cannot touch the present moment, and as long as you live there, neither can it touch you. But do not mistake this for defiance. It is not about rejecting time or pretending it doesn't exist. It is about seeing time for what it is, a tool, not a tyrant. You are not what time says you are, because time cannot truly define you. You are not the number of days you have lived or the number of birthdays you have celebrated. You are not the ticking of the clock or the flipping of the calendar. You are the awareness in which all of these things occur, and that awareness is ageless. When someone tells you that you look younger than your age, they are not merely complimenting your physical appearance. What they are really noticing, even if they don't have the words for it, is something far deeper, something that has little to do with your skin, hair, or the passage of years. They are seeing a reflection of your inner light. You see, the body is a kind of mirror. It reflects the state of the mind and the spirit. If you carry anger, fear, or resentment, those emotions begin to take shape in the body. They crease the face, weigh down the shoulders, and dim the eyes. It's not just a poetic idea. It's something we can observe. We say things like, that person looks like they've been through a lot, or they carry the weight of the world on their face. These observations are not about the years themselves, but about how those years have been lived. But the opposite is also true. When the mind is untroubled, when the heart is light, and when the spirit is at peace, it radiates outward. This radiance is not something you can fake. You can't cover it up with makeup or recreate it with cosmetic procedures. It's a kind of glow that comes from within, a reflection of the harmony you carry inside. Think of a candle in a dark room. The flame is small, yet its light transforms the space. It softens harsh edges, warms cold corners, and draws the eye instinctively. That is what your inner light does. It doesn't shout for attention, it simply shines, and others can't help but notice. Now, where does this light come from? It arises when you are no longer at war with yourself. Most people live in a constant state of conflict, criticizing themselves, doubting their worth, regretting the past or fearing the future. This inner turmoil creates tension, and tension is what ages us. It wears on the body like friction wears on a machine. But when you let go of that inner conflict, something remarkable happens. You begin to align with the natural flow of life. You stop resisting what is and start moving with it, like a leaf carried effortlessly by a stream. This surrender is not weakness, it is the ultimate strength. It takes courage to trust life, to let go of control, and to embrace uncertainty. Yet in doing so, you free yourself from the unnecessary weight that so many others carry. This freedom manifests as lightness, not just emotionally, but physically. Your body begins to reflect your inner state of ease. The lines on your face soften, not because they disappear, but because they no longer carry the burden of tension. Your eyes brighten because they are no longer clouded by worry or regret. Your posture becomes more upright because you are no longer weighed down by the invisible load of self-criticism or guilt. This is why youthfulness has little to do with age. You could be in your 20s and already look old because you are carrying so much inner heaviness, or you could be in your 60s or 70s and radiate a youthful vitality because you have learned to live lightly. The mirror of your body reflects the lightness or the heaviness of your spirit. But let's be clear, this is not about perfection. It's not about being free from every negative thought or emotion. Life will always bring challenges, and you will always feel the full range of human emotions. That is part of being alive. The difference lies in how you hold those emotions. Do you cling to them, replaying them over and over in your mind, letting them define you? Or do you allow them to pass through you, like clouds moving across the sky? The person who appears younger than their years is not someone who has avoided life's difficulties. Quite the opposite. They have faced those difficulties fully, but have not let them harden their spirit. They have learned to forgive others and themselves. They have learned to let go of what they cannot control. And most importantly, they have learned to live in the present moment, where the light of the soul shines brightest. This light cannot be extinguished, but it can be obscured. It is your task to keep it clear, to polish the mirror of your being so that the light can shine unimpeded. You do this not by adding anything to yourself, but by removing what is unnecessary, the doubts, fears, and stories that do not serve you. When you do this, your inner light reflects outward, and people notice. They may say you look young, vibrant, or glowing, but what they are really seeing is the essence of who you are. Unburdened, unclouded, and free. Life in its most profound sense is not a problem to be solved, but a game to be played. Most of us, as we age, forget this simple truth. We get caught in the seriousness of life, the responsibilities, the pressures, the expectations, and we begin to lose touch with the very essence of what it means to be alive. But there is a quality that, when embraced, keeps us young, vibrant, and connected to the flow of existence. Playfulness. Play is not a frivolous act reserved for children. It is the core of creativity, spontaneity, and joy. It is the state of being where we surrender control, drop our pretenses, and let life unfold before us without the weight of judgment or fear. Play is the natural expression of the self, unencumbered by the anxieties that so often accompany adulthood. It is the essence of being in the moment, fully present and utterly free. Consider the way a child approaches the world. To a child, nothing is taken too seriously. There is no distinction between the serious and the playful, because for them, life itself is a game. They do not look at the clock. They do not measure their value by accomplishments or social status. They are immersed in the experience of simply being. Whether that means running, laughing, imagining, or just observing with wide-eyed wonder, their world is full of magic and possibility because they haven't yet learned to dismiss it. Somewhere along the way, we forget how to play. We become convinced that life is about achieving, succeeding, and proving our worth. We get caught up in the idea that the only way to be respected or valued is to take everything seriously, to carry a heavy load of responsibility, and to never allow ourselves to relax. In doing so, we forfeit our connection to the playful spirit that is the foundation of life itself. But here's the thing. Play is not just something we do when we're feeling good or when we're free of responsibility. It is a mindset, a way of engaging with the world that allows us to find joy and meaning in even the smallest moments. When we can approach life with a sense of play, we can turn any experience, no matter how mundane or difficult, into an opportunity for creativity and growth. Imagine waking up each morning with a sense of curiosity, as though you were stepping into a new adventure. Every task, whether it's washing dishes, going to work, or having a conversation, becomes a chance to play. Play with ideas, play with perspectives, play with your own reactions. The world becomes less rigid, less predictable, and infinitely more interesting. Life, rather than feeling like a series of obligations, feels like a playground full of opportunities for expression, discovery, and joy. Playfulness is a fountain that flows endlessly within us. It does not run dry. The problem is that we often stop tapping into it. We bury it under layers of expectations, fears, and self-imposed limitations. But the moment we remember how to play, we reconnect with an eternal source of vitality. Play is the energy of creation itself. It is the life force that animates everything, from the tiniest particle to the vastness of the cosmos. When we allow ourselves to play, we align with this force and become channels for its creative energy. The beauty of play is that it asks for nothing from us but our willingness to let go. It asks us to release our attachment to the outcome, to forget about what is appropriate or serious, and to simply be present in the unfolding moment. When we can do this, we enter into a state of pure flow, where time ceases to exist, where we are no longer bound by the constraints of aging or the weight of responsibility. We become once again timeless. In this way, play is a kind of fountain of youth. It keeps us connected to the spontaneity and wonder of the universe. It reminds us that we are not just human beings trudging through the years, but part of a much larger dance, a dance that is ever-changing, ever-evolving, and endlessly playful. The more we allow ourselves to join in this dance, the more vibrant and alive we feel. The playful spirit does not age. It cannot be bound by the passing of years because it exists outside of time. When we engage with life as a game, we are freed from the limitations that age imposes on us. We no longer feel the pressure to grow up or conform to societal expectations. Instead, we find joy in the simplest of things. The way the sunlight dances on the leaves, the sound of laughter, the feeling of wind on our skin. We remember that life at its core is not a task to be completed, but a game to be played. As we grow older, we can choose to let the weight of life become a burden, or to see it as an opportunity to play with the mystery and beauty of existence. When we choose play, we choose life in its fullest sense. Play is not just for the young, it is for the wise, the curious, and the free. It is a constant reminder that we are more than our age, more than our bodies, and more than the roles we play in the world. We are, at our core, infinite beings, capable of endless joy, creativity, and discovery. So, when someone says you look younger than your years, take it as a reminder of the freedom you carry within. You are not aging backward. You are simply refusing to let the illusion of time define you. You are the timeless essence of being itself, momentarily appearing in human form. And that is the truest beauty there is. Live lightly, love deeply, play endlessly. This is the secret to looking young and, more importantly, to truly being alive.